opening episode of Healthy Mind, Healthy Life, the podcast where we dive into the real stories that awaken the mind and nourish the soul. I'm your host Avik, and today's episode is all about perseverance, perspective, and also about finding your soul's footing even when the ground beneath you shifts. So today we are joined by a remarkable guest, Jody Durand. So welcome to the show, Jody.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm very excited to be on.
Amazing, amazing. So, dear listeners, listen to this. Jody was born a farm boy, grew up with the values like uh, charity, justice, and family deeply rooted in his heart. So, but life, as we know, doesn't always follow the neatly plowed rows we expect. So, so his journey has taken him from running farms and launching a telemarketing center during 9/11, so to uh, facing deep loss, uncertainty, and eventually building a fulfilling life in sales, mentorship, and the advocacy. So his 2024 autobiography, uh, Country Boy Soul, isn't just a memoir. It's a mirror for any of us who have ever lost our way, questioned our worth, or maybe you can say stood at the edge of new chapter wondering, can I really do this? I guess, right? Most of you are thinking about the same. So um, if you have ever been knocked down or maybe doubted your path or uh, longed for a little more peace and purpose, then this episode is for you. So I'll not take much of your time. Let's get started. Welcome to the show again.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm a little humbled by the introduction, Avik. Very lovely. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jody. So, I mean, to start with, I mean, like as I was mentioning about like growing up on a farm, rooted in faith and family. So you wrote that. I mean, it all looks good from the road. So I mean, I, so if you can tell us what that mean to you as a child, and uh, how that line took on like new meaning as you faced the adulthood storms.
Yeah, I was really fortunate to be born in a loving family, very stable home with faith
Yeah,
and safety and love and comfort. And we didn't struggle. And our parents loved each other. And
yeah.
Um, my dad used to say that from time to time, and I always thought that was kind of a funny saying, but
Wow.
really, it didn't really dawn on me till later in life what he really meant, which of course is that we all, us human beings, all wear a mask. And when somebody asks, "How are you doing?" Fine.
Mhm.
How are you doing? Great. How are things going?
Yeah.
It's oftentimes not the case. And one thing that the book has revealed is so many people feel the same way, but they're just a bit afraid to
Mm.
open up about it, especially men. Um,
Yeah.
and it's been a refreshing journey, I would say. People feel that because I've been so vulnerable in the book and shared a lot of sadness and pain,
Mm.
but quite an astonishing journey. Um,
Mm.
they feel almost a license to tell me their story, for sure.
Hmm. That's great to hear. And like, would you also say the illusion of looking good from the road still haunts people today, like especially in the age of age of social media, I'd say. Yeah.
Oh my god. Avik, there's no more appropriate saying than that for social media. I mean, I tell my own kids, life is not made up of what you put on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. Life is
Exactly.
made up of what you don't put on those social media programs. Like when you lost your job, you gained 50 pounds, you started smoking again, you broke up with your wife, you got fired. Nobody puts that on social media.
Hmm.
That those lessons that life provides you are what shapes you as a person, like a piece of steel, molten steel,
Hmm.
hardened and tempered. and it takes an extreme amount of heat. But after that,
Yeah.
you're a changed person. So
Exactly, I totally agree with you. And I mean, this actually hits home because we are all, I mean, in this rush to present our lives uh, like the postcards. I mean, I remember when I was a when I was a child. So I'm a 90s born basically, but at that time also. Telegram was getting older and postcard was there that time. So I remember those postcards in yellow color, and we used to write, we used to present things. So it's like that. Like we all try to present our lives like a postcards, um but what you have shown is that authenticity, like even the messy parts, but it's where the real connection and growth begins. So yeah, definitely.
unfortunately, I mean, kind of unfortunately, because it seems like and maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just an abnormal human being, but it seems like the only way I can learn is the hard way. I wish I could learn the easy way, but um, it seems like that is the case. It's through the challenges that you grow as a person. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am today unless I went through the call center and all those issues. So
Exactly, exactly. So, also like you lost your father at the 20. I mean, such a
yeah.
tender and pivotal age. So how did that loss shape your view on the stability, manhood, and even yeah, your place in the world? So,
Yeah, that was I mean, at that point in my life, I was so young and full of life and naive, really, that I was in shock. I don't think it even kind of dawned on me until I was
mm,
actually in church during the funeral. Then I started to cry, and then it dawned on me that my dad is gone forever. Up to that point, I had big plans. I mean, my father and I were going to farm together.
mm,
He land. I love livestock. We were a nice combination. I got along with my dad and mom. Things were going swimmingly, and
yeah,
then it all was taken away. Boom! Like the trap door was open, and I fell through it, and I just had to
mm,
survive the next 20 years. And farming, I know there's I think there's 37 or
mm,
180 million farmers in India that, it is an extremely difficult job when things are out of your control. The
mm,
there's extreme pressures from markets or weather or disease or from whatever. And to do all that by yourself when you had
mm,
planned to deal with somebody that was experienced was extraordinarily challenging. And
mm,
then, of course, like all of us, it's the
yeah,
layers of stress that we deal with. So just that on its own was enough. But then you add to the fact I got married at 21. I had
mm,
4 children under the age of 7 by the time I was 30. Uh,
mm,
it's a lot. I
yeah,
certainly had a lot going on and surviving as a new husband, surviving as a father, surviving as an independent businessman. Um, I honestly, you asked the question, where did it put me in the world? I
mm.
felt like I should be in a certain place, but I just couldn't find that place. I guess I tried to fool myself into thinking it, but I just wasn't quite there.
I agree. I mean, it's too much in that age, like when you, and between that age, like 20 to 30, and having a lot of things happening at the same time. It's definitely it's difficult, but you survived it. I mean, you you did it, and there are things to learn from, obviously.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, of course, that was happening is my father was such an immensely popular and integrated man in the community that when I walked around, I looked just like him. I was asked a number of times, "Hey, Andy, what are you doing here today?" Or, "Oh, sorry. Geez, I'm sorry, Jody. I thought you were your dad." I heard that over and over and over again. So I almost felt like I had to replace him. And they were
Okay.
very successful farmers. And my mom couldn't stay. She couldn't stay on the farm. So she left. So that I really was all by myself because the memories of my dad, in the book I write at, I was standing at my laneway one day and I waved to my mom and she was at the other end of the laneway and her knees crumbled. That's exactly what my dad would have done. And that was it. She said, I can't be here anymore. I mean, I know I love you and I want you to succeed, but
Yeah,
my heart can't take it. So
agree, definitely. So if we talk about uh, the mental health, so when you were running your own call center during 9/11, you said that almost it almost killed you. Like, so what was the breaking down inside you at that time?
well, so after trying and trying with the farming and not having as much success as I like, and really some of it was beyond my control, but a lot of it was in my control because I just wasn't in a relationship with my wife at the time. That was a true partnership. We struggled. So a friend of mine asked me if I wanted to run a telemarketing call center, which was so out of the norm for me. But because of my toxic optimism, I would say, I thought, I can do this. I know production, I know numbers. I looked at the numbers. The opportunity was excellent. We were working in Canada, selling in US dollars, which meant that for every dollar we made, we got paid $1.50. So that was a great instant return on investment. And so I started into it not knowing a single thing about it. And when I got into the business, it is just so different than anything I'd ever been in before. I all of a sudden had to train people. I had to deal with US, contractors that were challenging. I had some unruly, unethical business partners. Again, always thinking it was gonna turn out fine. I'm gonna be okay because I'm Jody, and everything turns out fine for me. And so I blasted forward, and in the first year, we made money, but our only client, and there's a lesson for the listeners. We only had one client. He didn't pay me almost $100,000. And why? Why didn't they pay me? Because they thought they could get away with it. And there was nothing we could do. We were trading services for money. And when you trade services for money, if you don't get paid, you can't go collect on anything. I can't go pick up
Like,
the stuff. So we moved to another place because we basically ran out of people to work in the call center because it was such a tremendously challenging job, and it went worse, and it went worse, and it went worse, and then, at the very, bottom almost of the call center, my mom died suddenly.
yeah,
She died in a car accident, which was an accident, and my ground shifted underneath me, and I thought, "This cannot possibly get worse." By that time, we had tried to find another client, and it wasn't going well, and then in September, 9/11 happened, and that was it. That was the final nail in the coffin. There was nothing we could do to restore confidence. Consumers all over the world lost their confidence in a lot of things, and the world was an upside down place at that time. And that was it for the call center. I had lost another $150,000 in the second year because of not getting paid, and, that's just too much money to lose for a single proprietor. So, we couldn't recover from that, so I lost everything, all the equity I had in my farm and everything in the business, and at age 40, basically, I had to start from 0.
exactly. I can totally understand. So from those experiences, like looking back, uh, what signs of burnout or maybe the emotional exhaustion were you missing that now you help others to recognize? So what you do?
Yeah, the signs that I could see I was burned out. I mean, I was standing in the call center in the middle of all this energy and all this conversations. And I missed agriculture. I missed farming. I missed talking to farmers. I just stood there thinking, for the longest time when I was a kid, my dad used to say, be careful, son. You know, you want to do good in school. You don't want to turn out to be an underwear salesman, which I don't even know what an underwear salesman was back then, but that was a derogatory term. So
Mm,
for the longest time, all through my 20s and 30s and even into my 40s, people kept asking me, be, become a salesman, come and sell for me. You would be exceptional. And I kept saying, no, I'm not a salesman. I don't want to be an underwear salesman. And I don't want to be a salesman. I wanted to be a farmer. Then I wanted to run this call
ah,
center and I kept denying myself. But what I noticed when I was
mm,
at the call center was sales was something I actually was good at. I got on the phone and did extremely well. And then finally, out of sheer necessity, after being
mm,
bankrupt and having no money, I
mm.
finally said yes to sales. And then I absolutely took off like a rocket.
Yeah, and that's the life's I'd say that's the life's part of it. And
Sorry, and sorry, Avik, you also mentioned sorry, you asked me about was there a dark period or what sucked?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So yeah, when I thought I couldn't get any lower, this is after
Yeah,
9/11, after my mom died, in about
yeah.
fall of that year, I thought I had the call center sold to somebody else. And so
Oh,
I was driving home from
mm,
the meeting and I realized this guy wasn't going to buy the business and there was nothing to sell. Virtually, it was empty. All we had was equipment. And I thought, I have nothing left. I don't have any more options. And I was
mm.
driving down the freeway and my tire fell off of my car.
Oh,
And I went skidding across the freeway back
okay.
and forth across the lanes, trucks flying by me, and for some reason, some divine intervention, my
Hmm.
car, I did not get in an accident. I slid off the road, stopped, skidded to a halt, and my tire went bouncing by. And all I thought was, I wish I was that tire. I wish I could bounce freely. I wish I could
Uh-huh.
be happy. I wish I could be buoyant. That
Mm,
was the absolute bottom, and at that point,
mm,
I realized I can't do this anymore. I don't care how bad this is, but at that moment, people asked me, did you wanna hurt yourself? Did you wanna commit suicide?" No,
mm.
but I honestly thought, Avik, that it would be best
Yeah.
for my family if I wasn't there anymore, and so I was hoping I would've for a second. And then I
Mm.
realized I snapped out of it. I thought, no, no, Jody, you got to do this yourself. This is a mess you made. You got to clean it up.
Yeah, I mean, I can really imagine that, and from this experience, it's only thing coming to my mind is like that era actually sounds like a pressure cooker, and so many of us silently push through the breakdowns because we think slowing downs will be kind of failure, but your honesty here definitely really saved the life. So yeah, definitely. Oh, so also you have found real joy in sales, advocacy, and trading as well. So not the most obvious spiritual path, but how do you bring mindfulness into the profession? Like many people still see as a kind of transactional.
Yeah, that's a difficult question. And it's
Mm.
funny. My wife, Laura, now we live on a
Okay.
farm and we have 3 acres and we have sheep and we have chickens and we live in a little, we're living back in the agricultural world, which I'm very happy with. Laura's my total support. And we talk about this a lot. I guess I feel still to this moment in my life incredibly fortunate that I've survived all that and I now I've found my path. And so I guess I look every day thinking this is a bonus. I still consider myself just a pig farmer, just a pig farmer who happened to do well in sales and has taken off. And now I've had several jobs and now I do trading and I help other salespeople. And the book really, I could not have written it. Sorry, I wasn't quite over it. 10 years ago. Even though all this period of my life ended 20 years ago, I couldn't have written the book then. I wasn't really appreciative. I wasn't over it. Now I feel I have come to the other side and I'm very appreciative. And every day I just look around and think, I'm healthy. I've got a loving wife. I've got beautiful children. I've got 7 grand. I've got a great boss. I've got a great company. I believe in what I sell. Um, there's a lot to be appreciative for. And I believe really in my heart, I'm not special. I don't deserve this any more than anybody else does. Why have I been chosen to have this path? How come this has happened to me? It's just luck. I'm no more deserving than some poor guy locked up in a jail cell or some poor person living in a tent somewhere that's having a tough time. I'm just the same as you, and that's what people have said about the book. They listen to the audible version of it, and they're like, I can hear the pain in your words, but I can feel the buoyancy, and I can feel your spirit come through. And I felt better when I got to the end, and I thought a person of mine that I work with in my industry has been fired 4 times and I hadn't seen her in a while, and she said, "I listened to the audible version of your book over the weekend, Jody, and I want you to know it really helped me. I felt better after listening to it. You lifted me up." And that is worth more than Amazon bestseller status or millions of dollars to me that you change people's hearts and help people. That's really what it's about, Avik. I just want to help people, make them feel like they can get through their journey, and believe me, everybody goes through it.
Exactly. Totally agree. Everyone goes through like this. Some able to confess and some do not. So that's a good part of it. And also, like, what would you say to someone who sees their job as a kind of just a, just a payback, but feels a kind of deeper calling underneath? So, what do you have to say?
I would say you found your right job finally. I thought you were going to say the opposite of that, which is what do you tell somebody who feels that they're not in the right place?
Uh-huh.
And one thing I've learned is life is not that long. Life is short.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
surround yourself, Avik, with good people,
Mm.
people that are supportive of you, people that don't drain your energy. And if you're not happy in your role that you are, and you
Mm.
are able to change paths, be brave and change paths. Find
Exactly.
something that you love. Like sales for me is not a job. So
Mm.
not selling. I'm helping people with the products that we sell to make animals more healthy, to make
Mm.
make farmers more money, to
Yeah.
reduce losses, to improve sustainability, to reduce our carbon footprint. I'm helping people to do all those things. I'm not
Mm.
selling anything. I happy selling to do that, but that's the mindset.
Wow, that's awesome, Jody. Thank you so much for the truth, the grit, and the light that you brought in today's conversation. I mean, I have to say that your journey, reminds us that we don't have to be perfect to be purposeful. So that's a really important part of it. Uh, so if someone wants to connect with you, what will be the best medium to connect?
I'm on LinkedIn and I'm on Facebook. And I'm on Instagram. So it's not hard. Buy the book. All my contact details are in the back of that. As well, just as much as it's really nice to sell books and stuff, I really want people just to listen to the podcast and look in yourself and see what you need to change in your life because we don't get
Yeah.
2 chances at this. And Avik, I want to say you're such a fantastic host. I mean, do such a lovely job of guiding the conversation, and you just ooze kindness. And if there's one thing in this world we need more of, it's kindness.
Lovely. That's really awesome. And so, yeah, so that's really great. And dear listeners, I'll put all the links into the show notes for your easy reference so that you can easily reach out to Jody and go grab a copy of Country Boy Soul. And it's not just a book, as I mentioned, it's a roadmap back to yourself. So, yeah, with this hope, Until next time, keep growing, keep grounding, and keep walking your own road, even when it doesn't look good from the outside. So, have a great day. Thank you.